So, Tommy, you may ask, where am I right now? I know I have this lovely,
beautiful background,
faux alligator headboard behind me. I'm in Dallas. I'm getting to do the Suns Mavs game. So I literally just got off the plane, just got to the hotel. So my thoughts on this apparently classic, epic,
very good game,
Bucks Celtics game
very
is that I didn't watch it. However, I did get on social media as I was driving to the hotel and caught the highlights of Drew Holiday making those two defensive plays on Marcus Smart. And I just had one thought. This is my one thought. Drew has really struggled in this series. Obviously, Middleton going down, he's really their second option. Drew has had to create a lot of offense on his own in this series, which, again, he's capable of. But he's going against a great Celtics defense. But you can never discount his value because he is so good defensively. And when I saw those plays tonight, my one thought was, Drew Holiday is a fucking champion. He reminded the world tonight he is a fucking champion.
Can you explain how hard it is on that first block strip, how hard it is to actually do that and keep possession of the ball?
Yes, that was incredibly hard. There's something that I don't know a lot of people picked up. So Drew's obviously guarding someone else on the play. And when Smart drives, he is very hesitant to leave his man. You can tell he's kind of glimpsing back to see if there's a cut or a screen on the guy he's guarding. And so at some point, he just goes all in on making the play at the rim. So that was the first part of it I saw. And then the second part, again, I'm not a shot blocker per se. I never was, although I did block Jason Tatum off the backboard one time in the playoffs, which, again, along with stripping Kevin Durant is a somewhat of a career highlight for me. But no, that is incredibly difficult. Not just being able to block it and retain possession, but then everything that happened after that, clearly off balance, up against the baseline, is able to use his balance and footwork and athleticism to get to a position where he could throw the ball off Marcus Smart. Again, and I don't know, I didn't watch the game. Again, I'm just seeing the highlights, but that's my breakdown of the highlights. I want to tell the listener and the viewer, we are going to talk a lot about this series this weekend. We will be doing a YouTube live at some point on Sunday. And so regardless of what happens in game 6, and if there is a game 7, we will be talking a lot about this series. And I've said this a bunch over the last couple of weeks. I've felt like this feels like a finals, Eastern Conference Finals type matchup. Like this is two heavyweights. And so there's a lot to break down before we get to the conference finals.
I have one question for you before we move on to the Dallas-Phoenix series. And one thought, I think we should also shout out, everyone's going to talk about Drew's defense, but Drew hit the game tying 3 with about a minute left to get them back into this. So he hasn't shot well all series, but he did hit that shot. My question for you is a thing we've talked about a bunch about the Celtics for everything good that they do going into the playoffs is their lack of depth. Especially without Williams, but even Williams back, it was like a question mark for them. They looked gassed tonight. It was like the first time they really looked tired, and you could see on the missed blockout on Portis at the end of the game, that might have just been like dead legs. Is there a possibility that that has finally caught up with them?
It's really interesting. Again, I didn't watch the game, but it's really interesting to hear you say that, because after game 4, there were a lot of people on television saying that the Boston Celtics are wearing down Giannis. But what if?
By the way, they were saying that tonight in the third quarter. And
what if? Give me a second here. What if Giannis is fucking wearing down the Boston Celtics? I was so off, and I feel so bad still to this day. When Joel boxed me in the corner, I was trying to give him a compliment, telling him he was one of the best players in the world. I should have categorized it with a number. He caught me, and there was a moment where he said, "Who's the third guy between after Kevin and I for the best players in the world. And I said to myself, if I say Jokic, the Giannis people are going to hate me. And if I say Giannis, the Jokic people are going to hate me. And instead of just requalifying the entire conversation, I let the words Jokic or the word Jokic come out of my mouth. I was so off on that, Tommy. If you're saying I want one guy right now, I need one guy.
It's Giannis.
It's Giannis. It's Giannis.
I will say in your defense, and you already did a very eloquent apology for this. In your defense, that week we were doing a podcast with Joel Currently, who got you, and we were doing a podcast with KD like 48 hours later or something like that. And so I could understand why you're trying to play politics because we have to do this with these people. The answer is clearly Giannis. I mean, he's the best player.
It's clearly Giannis. It's clearly Giannis.
Yeah.